We have the CEO of HOVR Rideshare, which is a Toronto-based rideshare. This guy's 28. And, we were talking in the green room a little beforehand about, his previous experiences and some of the things that he's been doing. So he's a guy who's been, kind of running through different startups and things like that. So it's pretty cool to see, pretty cool to talk to. And of course, as I always say, Uber and Lyft are prime for disruption with new companies. And here is a new company that's coming. And Harrison, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Sergio, Chris, thanks for having me.
Harrison, how are you? Thank you for coming on.
Doing very well, thanks. Very well. Thanks for having me, man. It's awesome to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's odd enough, actually, that we had talked about HOVR. When was it, Chris? About 8 months ago or so, right?
I think it was when they first announced in the one of the articles, and we had highlighted it.
And we had talked about it because we're all about showing the money, meaning like another tool in the driver toolbox, right? I mean, we know Uber and Lyft exist, but the dissatisfaction rate in the driver community is through the roof at the moment for one reason or another, many reasons, but then we're not going to get into that because you're the star today. Like Chris said, you're 28. Harrison is a serial entrepreneur. We were talking in the green room quite a bit. I mean, my hat's off to you, sir. I mean, 28 years old, and you have a great head on your shoulders. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about your new business venture called HOVR, and introduce yourself, and then introduce the company to our audience.
No, absolutely. So my name is Harrison. I'm the CEO and founder of HOVR. We're an on-demand driver service that launched in Toronto at the beginning of May this year. There was a few years where we were, getting ourselves situated for this launch. And, we've got an amazing team backing this platform and helping us go to market. And so far, so good. You mentioned driver dissatisfaction, Sergio. That's probably the number one catalyst of why HOVR even exists. It was a collection of conversations with rideshare drivers when I had first moved to the city of Toronto as my primary form of transportation to get around, going where I needed to go to set up meetings for my other company. That it became very apparent that it was ripe for disruption. They were the original disruptors, but I think it's time to displace the disruptors.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There are a few in the US. We'll talk about your expansion plans towards the end, but give us some more color about the company, right? I mean, I do understand more driver friendly, but I think it's also more rider friendly as well. But give us the nuts and bolts of HOVR, what the business plan is, and what you guys are trying to do to acquire riders as well as drivers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're a membership-based model for the drivers, where instead of taking a commission from the fare, the drivers keep 100% of it. Our slogan is 100% fair is 100% fair. Riders pay less, drivers earn more. What more could you ask for, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's 10 million Canadians, and I'm going to use Canadian figures because that's what we've been focusing on for now. But obviously, we're very excited for the opportunity in the US. But one thing, if I could take anything away from the other companies that have entered the space over the years and what I've gathered through the research that I've done prior to launching, is not to spread too quickly, too thin, because you're going to lose track of what you're doing and where you're going. And there's just different types of issues that come with going at that speed and at that pace. So we're laser focused on what we're doing in Toronto and the GTA. But like I was saying, there's over 10 million Canadians that depend on this type of a service, whether it's their primary mode of transportation, because vehicle ownership is going through the roof, or if it's just what they prefer to use to go out on the weekends. On-demand driver services are definitely not going anywhere. We see the trend of it just increasing, and HOVR's here to participate in that. Drivers love us because we give them 100% of the fare. If there's anything that I can really hone in on at HOVR that we're doing differently, is about being totally transparent, right? So you can't be more transparent than 100% of the fare, right? The riders, what I realized when I was getting into these cars was that I didn't know what the driver was getting paid. The driver didn't know what I was paying. And that created a bit of animosity until we had a conversation about it, right? And you'll get that odd driver every once in a while that'll ask you to go off the platform and just send them the e-transfer. well, then it's not covered by insurance, and that kind of, just poses a whole different set of risks. So I thought, okay, how could we flip the model on how this all works, and bring some transparency and another, restore a sense of community to this, super transactional experience that is a result of the platforms just penalizing drivers and riders for, getting around where they need to go, and taking advantage of a necessity versus providing a real opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we've figured, obviously, I talked to a lot of startups myself, and I'm kind of involved with one, but the marketplace is there already. We don't have to recreate the wheel, right? Which actually, I believe keep it simple, stupid method works a lot better than this. We have a favorite saying on Show Me the Money. It's called hocus pocus. So every time I say hocus pocus, everybody takes a shot. Okay, that's what we do. So, I'm assuming there's no hocus pocus with HOVR either. There's no algorithms. There is no surge, and we just straight up time and distance. Because I call Uber and Lyft cab companies with an app, but they have to do what they have to do in order. They're public companies. I understand, their fiduciary responsibilities to their shareholders, but in the meantime, I think both sides of the marketplace is getting screwed as far as I'm concerned. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about the, I know, it's easy to say that driver gets to keep 100%. Obviously there is insurance involved. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the details of the process.
Yeah, for sure. So let's break down what the fare means, and the fact that there are fees. And this is, let me backpedal a little bit. So we took the best parts of the taxi industry and then the best parts of the rideshare and tried to put it together into what we see as a member-based association, which is the closest thing to like a worker co-op or a union that you can get without kind of really defining yourself as such. But a member-based organization allows the members to be, a bit more in control as to what's happening. And we as a platform provider just, remain transparent as to how everything works. So now I'll get back to the fares and the fees. The fare is the time compensation, like the per minute compensation, the kilometer compensation, and the base rate. We don't take any commission from that. They keep 100% of the fare. There are the fees as well, as you mentioned, the insurance. So there's the insurance fee, and then depending on the jurisdiction, in Toronto, there's a city fee per ride, and then we have the $1 per ride platform fee. And so across the board, it's $100 trip, $10 trip. It's just $1 coming our way. That keeps the platform active, safe, secure, up and running, and allows us to do what we need to do from a data governance perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? The keep it simple, stupid model works as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Math should not be this difficult. Math is not that difficult, right? We're just simple to PEMDAS and we go along, because, but let's talk a little bit about, you said you launched in May, right? Pretty, I don't know, a few months ago. How's it going? How's the, onboarding of drivers and riders is going? And I mean, you don't have to give us specific numbers. Obviously, they're, company, not secrets, but, you guys would like to keep it because, as you may know, the big bad brothers are watching today. So, I mean, they watch every show they watch. So hi, Uber, hi, Lyft. There you go. This is how you do it. So
for sure.
Tell me a little bit about one thing is number one, the how's the onboarding going of riders and drivers, and also give me some color on your subscription rate.
Yeah, no, for sure. So as you mentioned, we had a launch in May. It was really a soft launch. We wanted to get our version 1 app to market and really just be able to see if our assumptions were correct. We want to prove out the assumptions of the business case, and we were more than 100% correct, like multiples correct. The drivers came in tranches and waves, and it was just incredibly humbling that, we got that much support from the drivers and from the riders as well. I mean, getting the word out there through groups, even in the driver vehicles, some of them had posters, promoting HOVR, and it was just such a great experience seeing the numbers flooding into the App Store, Google Play, and on our website and all that kind of stuff. So, we see a clear path forward. We were able to get our product to market, collect the data we needed to collect to be able to make, the business decisions that were necessary in order for us to advance to a space where there's a proper balance in the marketplace from supply and demand, enough riders and drivers to to create a meaningful opportunity for the drivers to actually make or aim towards making a living wage, which is really the goal here, right? Because when you peel back the layers after all the expenses are calculated and what it looks like for a driver behind the wheel, it's not a pretty picture. And HOVR's here to help make a difference in the right direction. And so far so good. I can't complain about how it's been going, and we're just getting started, and we're looking forward to the next couple of months.
One thing I always say is work smarter, not harder. If you aren't using the Solo app, then you may be working harder. So let's change that. Download the app, link your accounts where you can manage your income, track your expenses, and project your taxes. Not only that, but you can plan by optimizing your time, make more, and even guarantee your daily pay with guaranteed earnings. Download Solo and begin to work smarter, not harder today. Link is in the description. All right, let's get back to it.
Right. So before all of you, 300 of you, I don't know how many you're here, but at the moment and later on, I'm sure I'm going to get bombarded with emails. Oh, when are they coming to here? When are they going there? I'm like, we'll talk about that at the end, guys. So hold off. I was asking you about subscription, right? Rates. What do you charge? What is it? So let's talk a couple of seconds about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's $20 a month, flat monthly rate. It doesn't go up or down based on how much you earn or how much you drive, or if you're part-time or full-time. We're really just looking to build out a really great member base, right? And there's a code of conduct, and all this stuff can be found on the website. And we are keeping it narrow. Like, we do have some kind of barriers to entry that just aren't financially related. The last thing we wanted to do was prevent somebody from trying HOVR because of finances, right? So $20 a month. We're also very transparent with the drivers that this is an introductory rate, and that when we prove ourselves to be worth more in the future, that they will be involved in the decision-making process of what that would look like. It's funny, prior to launch, I was speaking to drivers and they were telling me if you could launch faster, we'd pay more money. And it's not the case. It's not, that's not how we measure when we launch or how we get going. It's really just about putting out a good product to market that we can get the data from that we need to be able to make the improvements that we are required to scale globally.
Oh, globally. Well, now that you said that, now that you said that, let's talk a little bit about expansion. Let's talk a little bit about what does that mean globally?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so building a product that can withstand kind of the global demand is something that's not an overnight job, right? And so we're laser focused on our current market, which is our launch in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area. And we will go through the US in a meaningful, more thoughtful way, looking at each city, the data points and what it looks like. But ultimately, drivers will be in the front seat of letting us know where to go. If they sign up on our wait list and they let us know, hey, we want HOVR here. I mean, I've gotten calls from driver groups in Austin, Texas, and New York and Minnesota, and having some really meaningful conversations with top leadership across different advocacy groups and then driver groups as well. Whether if it's a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, whatever it may be, I try to be in touch with the drivers as much as I can. And the reason I mentioned globally there is because we've been in contact with a number of groups that are abroad and throughout the different parts of the world that unanimously agree that there is a need for a platform like HOVR to go around the world and provide the platform of opportunity that we're looking to do. So it's just about getting ourselves to that point by getting the right data, and when I say data, I'm talking about rides and drivers and all that kind of stuff, not personal data. It's just about industry data that helps us to be able to scale our infrastructure to meet those needs.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what you said a few minutes ago, I completely agree with that. Slow and steady, right? Because I'm assuming you don't have 35 billion like Uber does to put on fire to create the marketplace, which they did for 11 years, right? They burned $35 billion, literally put it on fire, and now they're trying to turn profitable. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the floor for the last couple of minutes. Time flies when we're having fun, but if you guys are interested, obviously, I'm pretty sure in the show notes we have the HOVR website, and you can go visit. They're only in Toronto, California. Toronto, Canada. Don't ask me when they're coming to California. Don't ask me. I don't know, but we'll keep you guys posted. The reason we put these companies up, you know, and interview their CEOs or executives is because there is a need for this game to change. And these newer companies have similar business plans, but, you know, I'm pretty sure one or two of them will be successful at this. And you know, we will do our best, obviously, to help Hover, you know, any way we can. But so I'll give you the floor. You know, give us some advice of you from your 28-year-old brain. What you know, we have a 99.9% driver community, so to let drivers know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've always said this: drivers are in the driver's seat, and I mean that figuratively in the sense that you're in control of how this industry moves. It just, you have to unite, come together, and not just, you know, protest with your time or protest online, or, you know, you have to really come together around a centralized kind of opportunity, and then that can be the catalyst for change. Because, you know, as I love the advisory groups. They do fantastic work when it comes to policy and supporting drivers from that side of things. But it really does take a platform to catalyze the change that the drivers want. And we're here to listen. We're here to help. It's what Hover's all about. So, you know, if there's suggestions or opportunities or anything of that nature that comes from the driver community, you know, we want to get you involved as early as we can. We're even doing a crowdfund in the next month because a number of drivers had reached out to us asking to invest. In Canada, we have this kind of, you know, accredited investor threshold that, you know, prevents people from getting in on the ground floor. And we've worked with a particular group to be able to situate ourselves so that drivers could get involved at this ground floor level. They don't have to wait for a public event or an IPO where they would have lost many multiples along the way. And so, yeah, I mean, again, we're all about the drivers, and the thesis is that a happy driver, happy rider. If you want to improve the rideshare experience for the rider, you got to start in the car with the driver who's doing the work.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate your time coming on.
Just a couple questions.
Oh, there you go. I was just about to put that up. We're thinking alike. So, okay, let's answer these questions before we let you go. 2 questions. Can drivers manually enter a ride? Because there is a company called Hum in Arizona at the moment that they're able to do it. I'm sure you know about it.
Yep.
Can drivers directly negotiate the price with the rider and directly collect payment from the rider? I'm assuming no is the answer, but let's hear it from you.
Yeah, so at this current time, Sergio, like you said, keep it simple. We went to what works, what's proven, and what is out there. And so we put a product into the market that had the basic requirements of what a rideshare is. We actually have in our pipeline of IP and patents that we filed what we believe the future of on-demand driver services will look like. And so I know I'm not answering your question directly. The answer to Mike is that no, they don't have this functionality and capability at this point in time. But we actually believe that there's a better longer tail on how these functions should actually play. And so we put out a product that mimics and is very familiar to the rider and the driver, to not throw them off too much with how to use it and how to make it work. But we've got some interesting things to come, so definitely keep an eye on Hover.
There you go. Well, here's Harrison Amit from Toronto, the CEO and founder of Hover, serial entrepreneur. Well, thank you, Harrison, for showing up. I'm sure we'll keep in touch. You know, keep us posted with what's going on with Hover and yourself as well. Much appreciated. Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for the time, guys. Chris, Sergio, I really appreciate it. Cheers.
All right. Thanks, Harrison.
Take care.
All right. Thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right. Drive smart, everyone.